You ever been there? You're deep in the zone with Claude AI. The ideas are flowing, and then bam! You hit a usage limit that makes absolutely no sense. Well, you are not alone. So today, we're going to solve the case of the vanishing usage. We'll demystify why this happens, and more importantly, how you can get back to work. Let's dive in.
And look, this isn't just you imagining things. This is a real quote from a top-tier subscriber back in March of 2026. It just perfectly captures that feeling of whiplash, right? One minute, you think you've got plenty of runway left, and the next, you are completely locked out.
So what is actually happening behind that friendly chat window? That's what this is all about. We're going to pull back the curtain, get into the weeds of why your usage seems to just evaporate, and show you how to take back control. All right, let's start with the central mystery itself. You think you're being measured by the number of messages you send, but the real story? Well, it's way more complicated than that. And here is the first major clue in our investigation. The number of messages you see on the screen, that's just a simplification. It's a nice, user-friendly number, but the platform isn't counting your messages at all. It's counting something else entirely, like a hidden currency that you're spending with every single thing you do.
And that hidden currency has a name: tokens. Honestly, understanding this one concept is the absolute key to mastering Claude. So, welcome to the token economy.
So what the heck is a token? Just think of it as the smallest possible unit of work the AI has to do. And the crucial part here is that it's not just the words you type. It is everything. It's the files you attach, it's the entire history of your conversation, and of course the answer Claude gives you back. Every single piece costs tokens.
This, right here, this slide shows you the huge disconnect. What you see is a few simple messages, but what the system is billing you for is thousands and thousands of tokens. You think you have a simple daily limit, but what's really happening is this dynamic 5-hour rolling window. That means your limit doesn't just reset at midnight, it's constantly being recalculated based on how much you used in the last 5 hours. It's a totally different ballgame.
Okay, so now that we know we're living in a token economy, let's meet the biggest culprits. The things that are secretly draining your token budget, often without you even realizing it.
The number one offender, by a mile, is what's called context rereading. See, for Claude to remember what you're talking about, it has to reread the entire chat history every single time you send a new message. So as you can see here, a long conversation gets expensive fast. By the time you get to your 10th prompt, the AI has to do a massive amount of rereading before it can even start to think about your new question.
And here's another key piece of the puzzle. Your choice of model matters a lot. The super powerful Opus model is an absolute beast for complex tasks, but wow, does it come at a high token price. The more efficient Sonnet model is much, much cheaper to run. So using the wrong tool for the job can literally drain your entire allowance in minutes.
And that is not an exaggeration. As this professional user put it so bluntly, if you're on a standard pro plan, leaning too heavily on Opus is just suicide for your weekly allowance. One single complex prompt can make a huge chunk of your capacity just vanish.
And beyond all that, there's a whole bunch of other little technical things. Using tools like file editors adds extra token overhead. Sometimes Claude does what's called extended thinking, where it bills you for its internal thought process that you don't even see. And yeah, sometimes there are just bugs that cause it to bill you for more than it should. It all adds up.
So you might be asking, okay, why are these limits so harsh? Well, it's not just about your personal account. We have to zoom out and look at a massive industry-wide problem.
Let's just rewind to March of 2026 when this all really came to a head. A massive wave of new users just hammered the system, straining everything. To cope, Anthropic first tried this weird promotion to get people to use it at night. But by the end of the month, that wasn't enough. They had to start what's called peak hour rationing, basically making tokens more expensive to burn through during the busiest parts of the day. And this wasn't some minor tweak that only a few people noticed. Anthropic themselves estimated that about 7% of their users, we're talking mostly professionals who rely on this stuff for their day jobs, would be significantly impacted by this new reality of AI rationing. Okay, so that's the problem. It's complex, it's driven by real-world hardware shortages, but here's the good news. You are not powerless in this. So let's talk about how you can actually master your AI budget.
It all comes down to what the pros call conversation hygiene. Seriously, the number one most effective thing you can do is start a new chat for every new topic. That simple action resets that incredibly expensive context history. You should also front-load all your info in the first message.
Edit your prompts instead of correcting them in a new one, and always ask for an outline before committing to a huge response. These habits will save you an unbelievable amount of tokens. And hey, if you're a power user in the Claude Code environment, this command is your absolute best friend. Just typing /clear between tasks completely wipes the slate clean, resetting the session and stopping that massive token cost from building up in the background. It's a secret weapon.
Now, for those of you working with huge documents, the projects feature is a game changer. It uses a technology called RAG, which is just a fancy way of saying it intelligently searches your files and only feeds the most relevant bits to the AI. This keeps that context window tiny and your costs low. And look, if it's a critical deadline, you can always fall back to the API, which just bypasses the subscription limits entirely and bills you directly per token.
So as we wrap this up, it kind of leaves us with a bigger question, doesn't it? The era of just assuming infinite AI is there for us, that might be over, at least for now. We're in an era of compute management, where using these powerful tools means treating them less like a magic box and more like a finite resource, one that requires real strategy and skill to use well. So is this the next essential digital skill we all need to learn?